the passion, the energy, the power, the spirit of hardcore.
Hello, thank you. Today I want to talk to you about how it is to try out a new Bitcoin app that you haven't seen before, how is the experience like, and what we can do better about it. So let's jump straight in. Let's say you want to try out a new Bitcoin, let's say wallet. And for this example, we will use Electrum, but it's very similar for other applications. So what the steps are like? When you've learned that there is an Electrum wallet, that it is cool, it is advanced and whatnot, but you never used it before, you don't know if you will like it, if you want to risk your satoshis inside it, you will take these steps. First, you download it, obviously, and hopefully you also verify the signature so that you don't get infected by some sort of backdoored version. But that's a topic for another day. Once you have it, you have to initialize it, and you are obviously greeted with some sort of seed screen where it says seed 2. And you are just trying it out. You are not going to store your life savings there right away. So you are like, okay, should I really back it up? And maybe you figure out that, yeah, but it would be nice if you accidentally lose the data to not lose the coins, and the probability of someone stealing this small amount from you is pretty small. So just so that you won't be annoyed, you decide to take a photo, obviously in an encrypted app, Stingo Photos, which conveniently has a feature that you can take a photo without having to unlock the app, which is cool. So you just pull out your phone, you take a picture of it. Yeah, the warning there said that you shouldn't do it electronically, but you are just trying it out, and this is a perfectly reasonable example. Then you hit next, and you learn that the application wants you to prove that you have actually stored the seed. And you are like, what? Am I supposed to type it in? I don't want to type. I'm too lazy for that. So you figure, I could just go back, copy the seed, and paste it there, right? So you go back. You copy the seed. And once you go forward and attempt to paste it, you figure out nothing was pasted. And maybe you fiddle with it a bit, but eventually you learn that the application wiped the clipboard when you hit next, so that you wouldn't be able to do this, which kind of looks sensible from security standpoint, but you are annoyed. Anyway, you repeat the whole process, and this time you are obviously copying it to some other text editor temporarily. You don't save it, you just copy it there, and then on the next screen you copy it back, of course. So now you have this done, finished, and there is one issue that you haven't noticed probably, and that is when you went back to the previous screen, a new seed was generated, so the photo you took is of different seed, and you don't have the backup anymore. The slide looks weird, I don't know, it should have been a skull. Anyway, I'm not cheating on Electrum specifically. This is I think these steps are pretty reasonable for any app, and there are applications that do something similar, so I don't think it's like strictly wrong. There are some that maybe try the better tricks a little bit, but anyway, the experience is similar. But you are just trying it out. And then, as you continue trying it out, of course, you need to send some satoshis into it. And you, of course, pay the on-chain fee, which may or may not be large. These days, fortunately, it's small. And obviously, you have to wait, let's say, those 10 minutes or whatever the blockchain happens to be in which state. So you go and cook a steak in the meantime, or do whatever else you like, and then return, and you have satoshis there. You see how it looks like. you click through the menus, and you try to send out the transaction, which of course again takes some time. So maybe you go and eat the steak that you cooked previously, and okay, you have tried the application. What you don't know probably is the developers have better tools for these kind of things. And this is because they have to develop the app. So if they developed the app in the way you are trying it out, it would take super long time and it would take a lot of satoshis. And these tools are called test networks. I wonder how many of you heard about testnet, Bitcoin testnet? Oh, it's quite a few. And how many of you heard about the rec test? Yeah, it's less, small number. I was pretty sure that will be it, but of course, don't trust verify. Bitcoin test networks are basically shitcoins that are with purpose. And the purpose is to test Bitcoin. So you could argue that they are the only shitcoins that have intrinsic value, and they are purposely shitcoins because they don't. People don't want them to have a huge value because there would be something to lose, of course. So you want something that has effectively zero value, and you want it to resemble Bitcoin as much as possible, except for things that make testing hard. And so let's jump straight to in my opinion, the best testing network, and that is RecTest. The RecTest network differs from the real Bitcoin in, of course, like not being Bitcoin. Secondly, it has effectively zero difficulty, so you can mine 1,000 blocks like that. You just do it in a millisecond if you want to. No problem. I tried it. Of course, you have your own instance. Everyone has their own instance, which has the advantage that there is no blockchain to sync. You don't have to wait for the blockchain to synchronize. You just launch it and it's done. Then it is great that you don't have to mess around with complicated ways to obtain the Bitcoins, because you just mine them for yourself, because it's super cheap, super easy. It's super fast, cheap, easy, everything is great. It has one disadvantage. If you want to try it with a friend, like if I decided to send you some RecTest satoshis, we would have to go through complicated way of setting up our nodes to connect together, and we would have to maybe protect our communication if we didn't want someone to annoy us. It's not a big deal if someone attacks us, but it's just annoying. So maybe we want to also do that. So we go through that, and then we can send. So this is I think the biggest disadvantage for these scenarios. Also, it doesn't have a nice GUI to mine coins and so on. The next network that is very popular, that most of you heard about, is the testnet. It is very similar to Bitcoin in pretty much every sense, except of it having no value. There were some different rules in testnet 3, but they are now launching a new kind of testnet 4, which will be even more similar to Bitcoin. There is almost no difference. Of course, soft forks are activated from the beginning, and the issues with that is, if you want testnet coins, you have to find someone who is willing to send them to you. So in a sense, there is a cost, and the coins are scarce, so they do have some value, which I know annoys many people who would like them to not have value, but sorry, that's not how economic works. Testnet coins will always have value as long as people want to test with testnet coins. And the annoying part of testnet is that someone can mine in such a way that they mine ton of blocks and fill up the hard drives of everyone else and so on. So that's pretty annoying, and I think that is the best reason to use Signet instead. So Signet is just like testnet, except it fixes this one problem. and it fixes it by centralizing itself. So it's being run by core developers. And you can also run your own instance of different Signet network, which is nice. But ultimately, the difference is that it requires the blocks to be signed. And since the blocks are signed, then only some select people can truly mine. And the coin is centralized, censorable, but for testing, it's OK. Let's talk about how would you use them in practice. So for instance, Wasabi Wallet has this configuration option somewhere in the menu. I don't remember where exactly, but you can click through and you will find somewhere a way to set the network, which is very easy. You then will have to restart the wallet, but it's not a big deal. The issue is that if you want to use Rectest specifically, you will have to also run your own Wasabi coordinator to provide some data to the wallet. So this use case is kind of messed up, but for testnet and Signet, it works fine. As long as your coordinator is providing blocks. Then we have, let's say, the Electrum, which I mentioned. Unfortunately, I have to use command line, but come on, this is simple. You just copy paste a command. This is a Linux command. On Windows, you do like C colon whatever. Basically, the idea is you just know the path where your executable is stored. You just type it in terminal and then add dash rectest or dash testnet or whatever. Whichever network you want to use, and then it will work. In case of Electrum, also you have to run your own Electrum server if you want to use Rectest. So many apps are like that. Bitcoin Core, of course, is not like that because it's so sufficient. And Bitcoin Core also has this. I thought I added it. Basically, it has dash chain equals Rectest or whatever you want. So that very similar for many other applications, desktop applications. For Android, you usually get a special build of the wallet. It's not often in the Play Store, so you have to find the APK and download it and install. Usually developers will provide it. I have pretty much zero experience with iOS, so I never seen how it's done there, but I guess it could be probably like Android or something. And in that case, you might need to compile the application yourself to load it. But yeah, that's. I mean, it sucks for general users, but I think it should be at least possible. And if you want to actually use like Rectest with Bitcoin Core, you need to use some commands to mine. So first is you need to create a wallet there because you need an address. You could also use a different address from a different wallet. It doesn't really matter. It's just a way you can generate an address, like two simple commands. But the most important one is to generate to address. You specify the number of blocks you want to mine. So you can mine 1 block or you can mine 100 blocks, whatever you like. And then you follow it with the actual address that you obtained where the mined coins will go. So this is like just general overview of how do you use the networks. And of course, this is all nice that we have it, but it kind of sucks for general public. And what is a question if we could do something better. So I am thinking of creating a new app. I actually plan to do that. That will help you with setting up your own Rectest and whatever. It will have nice GUI. It could self-install Electrum server and Wasabi coordinator and whatnot. So you would just click a few buttons and everything would set up and work correctly. That's one part that I think we should do. Second part is we should add demo mode for various wallets that have this kind of enforcement. So the idea is that, let's say for Electrum, if you use the demo mode, which you would be able to set from GUI somehow, Electrum would forbid you from using the mainnet, the main network, through Bitcoin. It would force you to use some testnet. But in exchange, it would allow you to skip the verification of the seed or other annoying security parts that might come up. You know, like if there is anything that is like really annoying to do, if you are just trying out the app and are not like that are usually annoying only for security reasons, I think they should be skippable in demo mode, but not on mainnet. That would be really nice. And it should be like truly aimed at making it possible for users to just try it out without risking the real sats. So I would like to, like, if there are any developers of any wallets, to encourage you to think about something like that. And maybe I will try to do some pull requests to various projects. And I'm also thinking of creating a protocol where you could connect among different Rectest users by just putting some link that I think could look like this, like some scheme name, BTC test could be an example, maybe something different. Some domain name where the server is providing this connection service, and some connection token to identify the network and maybe also authenticate the user. Something around those lines, I think we could figure out. And we could then put this in whichever app wants to use Rectest. And you could connect like several friends together, and they could just try out some applications together if they want to, and try send fake satoshis to each other and so on. So these are my ideas about how to improve the situation. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you. And maybe, I don't know if we have time for questions. No time? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin.